Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today, here in just a bit, I am headed off to check out the brand new biopic, Spinning Gold. Spinning Gold tells the story of record producer Neil Bogart, who's the co-founder of Casablanca Records. Casablanca Records is famous for, let's see, at least three that I know of. It's the Isley Brothers, Parliament, Donna Summer, and Kiss. Yeah. Kiss was signed to this record label. They were one of the, I don't know if they were the first, but they were one of the largest independent record labels of their time, and this goes back into the 70s. And I love movies that are in the 70s. Not that I really have any fond memories of the 70s, I was just a little thing. I was born in the 70s, but I don't remember much of the 70s, to be perfectly honest. So whenever I get to see one of these movies, it's always me going, oh my god, I was 2 when this movie was going on. I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me. Now the thing about this movie too that's really kind of interesting is the fact that it is written and directed by Timothy Scott Bogart, the son of Neil Bogart, the subject of the film. So I find that kind of interesting. I wonder if it's going to be just like stories that his dad told him, legendary things that happened in the record business. So I'm really curious about this film because I love movies, but you know what? Something else I love? Music. I love music. I have a very vast, wide variety of music that I enjoy. I like everything from Willie Nelson on into, Parliament. So you know what, guys? It is time for me to stop sitting here yammer, jabber, jibby, jabbing, jibber, jabber, jish. Wow, is that a word? Anyways, it's time for me to get out of here because here soon I gotta go check out the new movie, Spinning Gold. Welcome back. Just getting home. And guys, this movie's not half bad. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst film I've ever seen. There's a lot of moments in this film that are absolutely wonderful, but then there's a lot of bland, boring filler in this film also. Okay guys, so as I like to do, I like to get the ball rolling and start off with the negatives, and then I like to roll into the positives to end everything on a high note. Okay, right out the gate with the negatives. So, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, in no way, shape, or form was I expecting a musical. But at the beginning of the film, it starts to kind of make you think it's going to be a biopic that's very stylized, like the movie Rocket Man that told the story of Elton John through his music, and then also a little bit about just like his life in general and so on and so forth, but mostly the film was told as a musical through the music of Elton John. And when this movie first starts off, it seems like it's going to be a stylized biopic. I mean, it does fourth wall breaking, he kind of narrates, Neil Bogart kind of narrates the beginning of the film, and so you get this idea that you're going to be into a stylized, fun biopic that's going to have a lot of musical numbers, which, like I said, at the beginning of the movie, you are led to kind of believe this, and I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting a straight-laced biopic, but you know what? I really dug Elton John, or Rocket Man, so, hey, let's give this a whirl. Let's go for it. So at the beginning of it, I got that vibe, and then it just kind of stops being a stylized biopic, and it just becomes a typical biopic, and then it becomes a little bit stylized of a biopic again. So the movie kind of has its moments where it seems like it's going to really be great, and then it just milds it down and it gets a less of a, more style, less substance kind of thing going forward, or vice versa. It's kind of hard to tell. Like I said, the movie just didn't want to commit. That's the best way I could put it. The movie just didn't commit to the musical format. There's moments, and then it just kind of plays it straight, which kind of makes the film feel a little muddled. And I think that if the movie would have leaned into a much more musical presentation, that would have probably saved the movie a lot. I mean, the film is about the music industry, and it would have looked kind of cool to have some kind of musical numbers and all that stuff with these songs. I mean, there is a lot of songs from Casablanca Records that are featured in this movie, but they don't do them in, like I said, it starts off, there's a musical scene in the street, and you're like, oh, here we go, and then it's just the music from that point on the stage. And then, near the end of the film, it starts to get stylized again, and then it ends with more fourth wall breaking. And so it just makes the film feel like it doesn't want to grasp onto an identity and stick with it. But other than that, the movie is fine. So what did I like about this movie? Okay, well, right out, the music. The music is fantastic. I mean, yeah, you got some of the best in funk in the house. You got Parliament, you got the Isley Brothers, Donna Summer. I mean, come on. You also have Kiss, so if you're a rock fan, there's Kiss music in this. The music of the film is really where the movie has its stride. There's also some really cool moments. Like I said, the stylized versions of this film are really where it shines, and then it just kind of gets boring. The thing this film does is it really follows the biopic formula, and I guess I'm in the negatives again. So you have Act 1, it's the beginning, everything's going great. Act 2, we have something bad happening. In Act 3, everything works out, right? I mean, it's the typical formula. It does work, but I feel like they could have pushed it more into the stylized area, and the film would have been a lot more fun to watch, because it really does drag in the middle. So sorry, I went back to the negatives again. Oh, I'm in the positives. The music is fun. The musical numbers, when they do a musical number, they're really well shot, really well developed. The film also is very well shot. I enjoyed a lot of the cinematography in this film. The acting in the movie is just fine. There's some decent cameos, and the main actors in the film do a decent job. There's no real superstars in this film, but they don't have any bad performance or anything like that. There's nothing really out of the ordinary also, but the subject matter doesn't really get too awful deep, so there's no real melodrama or anything in this film. I mean, it even kind of just glazes over some very serious subject matter in this film. It's always just oh no, I have a problem. Hey, it's better. How did it get better? Magic. So the movie is kind of just, like I said in the intro, it is written and directed by the son of Neil Bogart, the subject matter of the film. So maybe there's a little bit of, glazing over, making things seem a little bit happier and nicer than they really were. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. The film wasn't terrible. It was average. It was pretty much a C+ movie because, again, like I said, the music numbers in this are absolutely phenomenal, and the music, of course, is great, and it really does carry the film throughout its entire runtime. I looked forward to the music in this film more than I did anything else. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. Well, one last thing I guess. My verdict on this film is there are some really solid movies that are out in theaters this weekend. You have D&D, you have 1001, and this movie, in my opinion guys, this is the one that I think that should be weighted for streaming services. It's not terrible, but again, with these other heavy hitters in the theaters right now, I feel this movie is definitely worthy of streaming. Okay guys, thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.